Good. Oh my god. Sorry. Welcome back, y'all. Today we'll be playing Donut County. It's a game that I don't know much about, but it is a very friendly, very charismatic game. It's not a long game, so this will be a shorter stream than usual. I do have some work stuff I have to get done for tomorrow, so sadly, this will be, I think, less than a 2-hour game. So let's get into it. Without further ado, Donut County. If you like donuts, this is the game for you. If you like holes, and I think you're just a hole going around, you'll like it. So let's get into it. Mirror's house. Oh, look at the little kitty. Okay. Oh my god, I can touch everything. Duck, duck. I'm bored. Quiet, BK. I'm dead. I've died. I feel that. Please have some respect. Some honking man woke me up again. Honestly, though, being woken up, I just heard the honk. At the honk of dawn, honking unbelievable. That sounds just like what I'd say, actually. I'll revenge you. Be careful, dude. This guy really honks. Yeah, whatever. Come to the donut shop. I'll stop feeding your dog bread. He needs bread to live, BK. He's a certified loaf. Honestly, though. Mayor's a loaf. Look at that. Loaf. I'm leaving in 5 minutes. Goodbye. So we could, oh, that guy. So I guess we're supposed to suck these up, it looks like. So I'm a big hole in the ground. I suck the O up. Yep, the end. So I'm getting bigger is the game. Ooh, oh, come here, little dude. I'm gonna get you in a second. I'm gonna get you. So I guess we're a big giant. Oh, he's dead. We're a big giant hole, and we just suck stuff up. It's the name of the game. Oh, we're at the donut shop. Look at all those llamas. Oh, so cute. Look at that little raccoon. Dude, the honking stops. I killed the honk. Do you actually do something to the honking man? Yeah, don't worry about him. I just delivered him to a donut. Oh. Well, I guess it distracted him. Guess what? I'm level 9 now. Oh. You just killed a guy? You don't get it, Mira. I'm level 10. I earned quadcopter. You're gonna buzz around here like kings? I already like the raccoon. Already like it. 6 weeks later. Okay. A little time travel. Oh. What in the heck? R.I.P. to that thing. Is that the copter? So I guess we did buy a copter and it broke. Yep. How could you smash my quadcopter? Who cares about your stupid quadcopter? How could you destroy the entire town? Oh, so the raccoon must have 999 feet below Donut County. I've never destroyed anything. I'm kind. Gee, what? You use that stupid app to open holes all over town. And now we're all stuck underground. Everything here looks fine to me. The blindness. Except for my quadcopter. I agree. I'm the victim. I agree, BK. You are the victim. Will someone back me up here? No one said anything. It's obvious that you did it. I got swallowed by a hole right after I ordered a donut from your shop. What does that have to do? With me, you're smashing my quadcopter. I like him already. Potter, what happened to your son? Oh, Pup. My sweet puppin boy. He must still be up there somewhere. Oh, we split his pup away. Click, left click to deploy hole. All right, let's deploy hole over here. Ooh, so he slowly eats stuff to get bigger. If y'all hate holes, this is not the game for you. Come on, get in there. Get in there. Get in my belly. Alright. We're gonna take the water ball first. I feel like that's fair. Just gonna eat all this up. Oh, okay, we can shift to different areas once we're done. Okay. Just gonna take this basket over here. Watch your food. Can I take her now? Oh, yikes! There he goes. Oh, he's dead. So that's where the pup. So we're hearing the story of how the pup's father just died, the one that was talking. Is there a challenge where I don't have to break any pots? I don't know how to get that one. I'll have to get bigger to get that one. Oh my god. Come on, fall in. Oh yeah, there it is. Jeez, I'm just getting everything. Alright, that should be now. What's this? Oh, do I get to control hot air balloon? Oh, he's trying to escape. Not today. What? There it is. I just had to throw it up and eat it faster. Okay, so I got a fire, and now I can control fire. And that is how the boy escapes. It's the boy who lived home to die. Just gonna keep eating stuff. Do I eat the donut? Let's eat the donut. Oh. Come on, can I eat his house too? Can I eat the boulders? Wow, I can literally eat everything in this game. Take your little house too. Whee! I just ate this dude's house. Now he's got nothing to go back to. Jeez, that's sad. Okay, so there's the guy who's telling the story. Great delivery. Hell yeah. Oh, I'm trying to get to level 10, which is the copter. Have a great garbage day. Donut County again. We're 99.9 feet below. I just wanted to surprise Pup with a donut. That's so sad. Now he's floating away. Alone Pup. Yeah, I feel bad too, Raccoon. No, he's not. If you got swallowed first, how do you know Pup is in the balloon? Story's full of holes. Your brain is full of holes, and so is the entire town, thanks to you. Just doing my job. Wait, I mean, not sure. I'm innocent. Wait, Pup is in a hot air balloon? That must be her talking, Helen. I saw a hot air balloon photo by my ranger station. You saw Pup? Which way was he heading? I don't know. Got distracted. I just ordered a donut. Nice. I just got hungry when I'm anxious. I feel that completely. I eat when I get anxious. Anxious about what? Believe it or not, snakes. Isn't there a snake right beside you? Or is that a lizard? That's a lizard, I think. Click to deploy the hole. Oh, he's trying to hide from the sneaky snake. I just ate one. If I get rid of all the snake swarm, oh, you just went right into my trap. Called Trap Hole. Yu-Gi-Oh card. Oh, come on. Get your ass. Get in there. Oh, yeah, there you go. That one may not go in. Oh, there you went. There you went in on it. Alright, come on. I won't be able to get that one yet. Gone. So I'm just trying to get rid of all the snakes, I guess, for him, so he can now enjoy himself. So, oh, he called a blue snake. I've never seen a blue snake. That's bad. Okay, I can't suck the pole down. Can I capture the snake? I can. He's worried about the snake danger? What do you mean snake danger? I caught all the snakes. Oh, what is this? Okay. I have to get it to red. Okay, okay. So I have to alarm. I have to alarm everybody to get the most massive snake danger possible. And then this should set the alarm completely off. Yep. Oh, it let all the snakes out. Oh, now I just feel bad. But I'm gonna capture the snakes for him. Come here, chicken. Come here, little chicken. Look at all those chickens. I'll catch that, and I'll get most of it right there. Oh, those were in small chunks. I could have grabbed those earlier. You're going down. I'm yelling timber. All right, that's there you go, Fox, Mr. Fox. I'm not gonna lie, that's a banger. Have a garbage day. 990 feet below Donut County. Lol. Imagine think if someone died and all of a sudden he just says, lol. That's not right. I did not mean to laugh out. Sounds like you should be thanking me for solving your snake problem. Wait. So it was you who popped up the holes. What? No. It's getting more suspicious. I'm just saying whoever did do it was totally doing you a solid. Probably a really cool and nice guy. Did anyone else see Pup? Yep, I saw Pup. I didn't see Pup. Did y'all see Pup on that last one? With my telescope. You mean my telescope? That's what I said. My telescope. It's like me and my brother. Where did you see it? Me and Pepper were feuding again, so I moved my trailer to Mint River. He took a liking to this bird. Yep, a bird made for liking. I was admiring this bird till I was hit with a hunger. So I ordered a donut by way of this Donut County app. Then the hole came. So this app is powerful. Oh, we're gonna oh, the pug's gonna die. I'm going to my hole. Pugsley. Oh my God, the dog. What the hell? Oh, that's okay. So that's a machine to get the water out. It is no animals were harmed in the making of this game. So I'm gonna let him take that, and then I I can grab this. So I can't swallow things when I have water in my thing. And it fills up pretty quickly, it looks like, so I gotta be careful on that. Maybe you can just drink it all. I mean, that would be nice. There's that fish. Let's take the dog house, because there's no dog anymore, so. Give me that fish. There's another fish? Oh my god, the fish keep popping up. So if I swallow the water, it does add to my thing, and you're gone now. See ya! I take this now too? Yep, I took the bird. Oh, great delivery. See, I'm just getting all those donuts rewards. Look at that. That's a banger. Have a garbage day. $990 feet below Donut County. Wow. So you are saying you like in love with a bird? Yup. Is that legal? It's not about the bird. It's about the holes. It is about the bird. Oh, ooh! Did you cheat on your with a bird? Myra, it is about the bird. You're hopeless, dude. Was intent. Hopeless. We're all hopeless now. I feel that. Coyote? I thought you moved away to the desert. I did. Okay. You must be targeting folks. BK must be targeting folks who are down on their luck. Coyote, you're the original owner of the Donut County Donut Shop, right? Yep. But we went out of business. When the raccoons moved into town, I sold the raccoons the shop and moved out to the desert. Oh no. Sorry, Coyote. Can't be helped. Coyote's life is like a sad country tune. Made a modest living, selling vegetables. What? Was the way of giving back to the folks. Such an odd selling. Oh, wow, he's actually selling corn. It's corn. Big lumpy knobs and got the juice. Give me that corn. I feel bad I'm stealing all this corn and stuff. Give me that one. Get this rock over here. Should take the fire now. Oh, come on. Give me that fire. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, now I can blow things. Oh, I'm popping popcorn, y'all. No, these are mine. What are y'all doing? Give me that popcorn. Stole my popcorn on this. Yeah. Give me that popcorn. And there's the corn. I like how the corn literally just is able to pop and everything. I like that. I take this sign, not to take the sign. Alright, well, you're about to die. Can I take the sign now? I can take the rock, right? Yeah, I can take the whole rock. That's it. He was just minding his own business. He didn't even order a donut. He had popcorn, which is also another really good treat. Have a garbage day. $900 feet below. Anyway, that's my sad story. Okay? Don't you have something to say to the coyote? Yeah. Vegetables stink. I agree. Yeah, they do. Coyote agreed. Yeah. I mean, like an apology. I'm sorry you think vegetables taste good. How am I the raccoon, y'all? Maybe they do stink. I suppose my sweet tooth was feeling lonesome, and that's why I ordered a donut from y'all. See, Mira, why should I apologize for delivering with this pathetic vegetable-eating coyote a donut? Wow, the insults. You wrecked his business twice. And stop saying you deliver donuts. What exactly do you think donuts are? Who can say? Exactly, who can say? Roma gets it. What is a donut without a hole? It's a pastry, right? Or a biscuit. A biscuit. What would a donut be without a hole? Wow, very good question. We should really stop to ponder. We should stop to ponder this for as long as possible. A donut without a hole is still a donut. No, I don't think it is a donut. Wait, they do have donut filled, which doesn't have a hole. Yeah, like jelly donuts. I don't know what long johns are. I know what critters are. Donut holes. Wait, donut holes don't have holes? They don't have holes. They are the holes. They are the holes. Yeah. Wow. That's pretty... Hold on one second. I have my girlfriend call me. I don't know why she'd be calling me right now. 1 second. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. I was trying to get Disney Plus for my girlfriend's family. Trying to get them to watch the new Avatar game, new Avatar movie, which is I've not seen yet, so I can't say what it is. All right, back to the donut hole. Wow, it's pretty deep. Don't change the subject, okay? Nikki, Roma, two just moved to Hopper Springs, right? These little dudes. Yes, moved out of our retirement to watch the bunnies. Bunnies at heart, Nikki and I. Are those bunnies? Married 40 years. Did you order a donut too? Roma got a new phone, so we ordered donuts to celebrate. I don't know if I would do donuts to celebrate, but to each their own. Left click to deploy. Alright, we're gonna eat some carrots, because carrots are good for you. Carrots are very good for you. Oh, I can't get in there yet. Okay. Just gonna take one brick at a time and slowly make our way up. So, oh crap, I got plugged. How do you... Come on, finish eating it. I have to get unplugged. Crap. Oh, maybe if I let it out. If I let it out, maybe it'll eat the rest of this thing. And now I eat y'all, suckers. Sucker! Oh, they're in love, though. Do you know what that means, chat? What the love symbols mean while they're in a hole? That's what I'm thinking too, chat. Can I take anything else? I can take this big thing. There it goes. The rabbits are multiplying inside the hole. This hole? Yep. Let's get a bigger hole. That I could not have said it better myself. Nice. Oh my god, now they're spraying out. Yeah, there's more bunnies that came out of that hole than went in the hole. Definitely had some fun in that hole. Such a holy game. Look how they're just casually sitting, like he's falling with his knee up. Have a garbage can. Mirror's really cute that you two are so in love. Night and day belong to love. That's so sweet. It's true. It's extremely gross. You're gross. No, I'm not gross. You love trash. Gross. You love trash too. Everyone here loves trash. Why else would you make so much of it? Are everyone's homes just trash to you? Yes. Don't say that about my trailer. Yeah. Don't mess with Pepper. Yeah. What happened to your trailer, Pepper? Well, after me and Salt split, I went to Joshua Tree Park for some peace and quiet. Oh, there's Salt and Pepper. I brought my laptop also to watch bird videos. Bird videos. Okay, bird videos. We're gonna grab this rock here. Park here. Grab as much of this as possible. Oop. Oh. Can I grab this one yet? No, I don't think I can grab that one yet. Bird videos. Exactly. That's what, oh, can I light this one on fire? No. Holy smokes, I just caught that whole tree on fire. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. Light them all on fire. Maybe just this one on fire. Just everything's about to burn. Wow. Everything's gonna burn now. Okay, can I take this now? Oh, can we burn this down now? So instead of swallowing her, I killed her too. That should be it. Oh, we're gonna swallow the mountains in a car. Swallow. That's a big rock. Take that. Take this. A big giant. I've never been invested more in a game with holes. Watch what I say. Okay. Garbage day. Question here. You didn't save the Joshua trees because you were too busy looking at bird videos. Well, they're hundreds of years old. So old. But you and your brother have issues, dude. Admit it. I don't like BK. No, I wasn't looking for bird stuff that time, okay? So she admits that she was not looking at bird stuff that time. Then what were you doing, Pepper? I was writing an email. To a bird? No, you trash sniffer. To my brother, Salt. Excuse me? I was writing an apology. I shouldn't have smashed your lava lamp. You shouldn't have ate the lava. It was wrong of me. It's alright, dude. The lava's the best part. Oh, hey. Lol. So you're united, feuding brothers. Solve the silver servant snake problem. Given a child the gift of flight. I'm a hero. Hey, you, hair guy. What the hell was that? Morsel? What? What do you do? I sell explosives. Sweet. I mean, that sounds unsafe, dude. Certain citizens will probably want your fireworks stands blown up. For safety. Oh no, I run my business completely above board. I have the most permits in Donut County. Playing with fireworks is safer than driving a car. That is really cool. Yeah, fireworks were banned at one point here in Georgia, and they just started getting them back. Okay, I think I'm supposed to do something with... I think I'm supposed to do something with this rocket. Ah, that's what I'm supposed to do with the rocket. Where's it going? Okay. I just keep launching them off and see if I can get... Okay, maybe I can try to launch them off and hit those ducks up there. Gotcha. No. Do we got duck tonight? I was trying to grab that brick real quick. Oh, what are you doing up there? What the heck are you doing up there? gonna blow him off his... Oh. Yo, I'm about to kill someone. Oh, what's this? A little piece of food I can eat and get a little bit bigger. All right, so it looks like we're... Can I take this car yet? No, I cannot get this car yet. We're gonna keep trying. We're gonna blast him off this cliff. Third time's a charm. Ooh, that didn't feel good coming down. I thought I could like eat him before he fell down, so he wouldn't be like dead. But oh, popcorn popped out. Corn. Car, no. Okay, there it is. Should be able to eat the car here in a second. There it is. Nom 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 nom. Oh, there you go. Easy. Wow. It was so bright it turned night. Oh, I hurt his foot. Wow, I feel bad now. Why am I hitting the perps? Have a garbage day. Boom. I was cleaning up the neighborhood. Who has a gripe with me? I do. Well, my gripe is actually with Mira. Oh. Now you're in for it, Mira. Coco? Well, Mira knows the details, but I figure everyone should hear. Even the bird weirdos? Yes. Tell them. I knew the raccoons were making the holes. I knew the whole time. Excuse me? Also, it's good to lurk. It's good to lurk. So how did he know we were making holes in time? How many snakes would it take to defeat you? Big snakes, venomous snakes, normal size. But you gotta fight in a tiny room. Probably 1,000 snakes. That's a lot of snakes. Expect a shipment soon? You haven't looked into the disappearances yet, have you? So she knew. Saul hasn't answered his phone in days. Just he's around now. Did you talk to Possum? You should ask him. Possum told me there was hollow and flat at the same time. I'm sure the flat Earth is real big. Oh my god. One second, the music is really loud. All of a sudden, it just got like peaked here. Mira, you know, ever since these raccoons moved in, folks have been disappearing and work at their donut shop. So she did it because I ordered a donut. Oh no, he ordered a donut. I want to see how they taste. I gotta go. I'll talk to you soon. No, you won't. Oh, you fell asleep? Why don't you follow? Oh, they're invisible. You see their eyes, right? That's pretty cool. Little baby here. There's a big one right there. There's a baby one right here. I'm gonna get the baby first. Get the baby first. Yum, 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 yum. Alright, let's go, little dude. Or big dude. Oh my god, fall in. Fall into my hole. Alright. Oh, there's more here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, right there. Oh, that's why it's so loud. You have a radio playing right there. That's extremely loud. We're gonna take this board down. Then we're gonna take this thing down. Oh, thank God. That was so loud. I'm so glad I got rid of that, like, close. Why did it get chopped off? You can hear the guy snoring now, y'all. Oop, I just smacked him in the face. Oop, sorry. Oh, dang. Okay, okay. Let's grab this. Maybe? Let's grab the... Let's grab him. Yay! Well, he's dead. Look at the Yoda studio. Why is the guy literally right beside a yoga studio? That's kind of creepy. Because people don't have control where they live. And now his house is going to go with him. Bye. I mean, he did order a donut. He calls this on himself. Have a garbage day. I'm so sorry, Coco. It was my fault you got put in the hole. I should never have taken the job with the raccoons. What the? I thought we were friends, dude. Thought we were too. Sad already. Then you ruined my town. I don't get it. I tried to help when you asked me to. I bought the catapult upgrade for you, even though it's a waste of points. You told me that with the catapult, you could launch everyone back out of the hole. Yet here we are, in the hole. Chickens are not a waste of points. Kiss Dollop on the head. You offended her. No. Kiss her. No. It's the least you can do. After stealing all of her eggs. I didn't steal the eggs. They fell through the ground. Just tell your story, Jelly Bean. Times were tough on the farm. I had sold my prized rooster to make ends meet. Dollop was very upset. The hen was very upset. We sold the... Oh my God, the tears. The tears from the chicken. And there's the raccoon. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna grab this. Gonna grab these first and then eat the chicken. Yoink. Can we take him in there? Oh, there goes the raccoon. I bet he didn't think of that. Eggs. Why are you on the toilet? Why did you deliver a donut to Coco? He ordered one. What's the problem? This is too much. Oh wow, she corrected herself like most people don't. That's good. That's good correction right there. You have to buy the catapult upgrade now and fix things. But I gotta save up for my quadcopter. Do it. I'll fix everything. But you owe me. Bye. Oh, I have a store? I have 110. I already bought those. Okay. Bought some energy drinks. Why not? So we bought all those. I didn't know we had a store. That's cool. Click to catapult. The base is solid. I like that. Has like a solid baseline to this game. Okay, so what am I going to do? Looks like I have to... Give me that orange. Looks like I can get that. I can break the parts and get bigger from the parts and then grab the chicken here. Can launch it up and see if he can grab that. I think that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. Oh, yay! Fly to there. Come on, fly. Fly, mother rooster. Oh, you failed me. Alright, come on, come on, come on, come on. Here's your chance. Here's your chance. And we got touchdown, boys. Get in there. Oop, yeet. Oh, I missed it. Can you throw me another one? Please and thank you. Yeet. Alright, throw me another one. This is excellent, y'all. Give me more eggs. Oop, oop. Oh, oh, look at all those eggs. Look at all these eggs. Oh, yeah. That hen is pumping eggs out, y'all. Oh my god. Can I take this now? Got it. Take your car, too. Oops, just launched that car into the house. We'll take the barn last. Oh, there it goes. So I ate the raccoon on that one, so that's a little odd. Have a garbage day. You weren't even trying to help, BK. I was trying. It's hard to use the catapult. I think the hole's only really good for destroying things. It must be designed that way. Holes were designed. Don't look at me. I didn't design it, but you used it. Well, what else could I use? You could have, I don't know. You could have used real donuts. Could a real donut say poor Bear Claw from certain doom? Saved me, you humiliated me. You're getting hunted by bees. I'm a hero. You ordered a donut to the middle of the forest? Yep. People must really love their donuts to be delivering it to the middle of the forest. I guess it's suspicious that you'd offer to deliver donuts all the way out to the middle of the forest. That's also true. Hunted by bees? Look. It's a tough job. Sometimes you get hunted by bees. Wow. What? So I gotta hurry up and collect stuff so before they fall. Honey Nut Natural Forest. So I guess I'm supposed to collect these things before. Can I just catch the honey here? That's not a thing. Those little drops are not catchable. I thought they were catchable. They're not catchable. Alright, we're gonna catch all that. Catch that. Catch that. Eat that log. So probably eat this log now. Can we eat this? Boom. Oh, we destroyed the bee. Can I fall in? Can you fall in? Boom. I don't think I can fall in yet. Can I? I was hoping I could like scare. All right, I should be able to fit it in right there. There you go. There you go. Maybe on the diagonal piece right here. Come on, get in there. Get in there. Okay, come on. Get in my belly. They're the same size. How come I couldn't eat the first time? All right. Let's get this one in. Perfect. Fall down. Fall down. I don't think these will fit. I don't think those will fit yet. All right. So what's this over here? Can't catch these. No, I can't catch these. No, that's just air. Is one beehive smaller than the other? I don't see why they wouldn't be. Or why they would be. Yeah, like I can't. Oh my god. Oh, come on. Get. Oh, it's too big. That's what she said. Okay, is there something else I can grab? Yeah, because these are just not wanting to fit. Is one smaller than the other? If so, I think this one would be smaller. I say that. Okay, come on, man, come on. Lost my honeycomb. So anything else to do with catapult? The honeycomb is my only catapult item. I wonder if I can... Ah! And now made it a little bit bigger, enough to eat these. Look at chat. I need this back though. Oh, maybe I can... Yoink. Good chat coming in clutch. Yeet. Honestly, the frog is pretty cool. I wish I had a frog that could do this. If I had a frog that could catch mosquitoes in my house and everything, I'd done a few. Get in there. Alright, that's all for there. Alright, so we're gonna be eating these. Just grabbing and eating, grabbing and eating. Ooh, that frog's getting bigger than my hole almost. But you're gonna go back in that hole. Yeah, you are. Why couldn't you get up there? Jump, bro, jump. Get up there. There you go. Come on, get in the hole. All right, now let's grab him. Why not? Yup, got him. I got a lot bigger really fast, didn't it? Smack. Have a garbage day. All right, let's see what they got to say now. What about me, the sheaf? Nobody asked about me. Did BK own you? Own you with the catapult too? No. He ruined my restaurant. Your restaurant stinks. Yeah, it's grade D. How can you guys be called Salt and Pepper and not have an appreciation for soup? Boo. Wow, these guys are bad. Calm down, nerds. That's a big insult. What did BK do to your restaurant? Well, I was dealing with a slight bug problem. I was exhausted from rounding up bugs, so I ordered a donut. That's what I think. I think when I'm tired, I should eat a donut. Oh, look at that little roach. Dude's literally sitting. Would y'all catch a roach like that and then sit on the bucket? Because I know I'm not. I would not. Up, you're dead. Bye. Cat Soup is the name of this restaurant. Let's grab this cup. Okay, that doesn't have anything. Okay, so dump soup does that. It eats that. Okay. So I need to make soup, it looks like. So I'm gonna do some little salt and pepper. Little salt. Oh, give me some salt. How do I get some salt from here? So I got some salt. Get off of me. No, roach. Okay, so I have to dodge Roach Boy. And I have to dodge the Pelican Boy. And then give it to him. Yep, that's what I'm supposed to do. Oh my god, all the roaches. Why would I want to capture all the roaches and bring them down to where I live? I feel like I would not want to do that. Oh, there you go. And we ate everything. Oh, let's eat these really cool cars too. Yum, yum, yum. Patio, a tree. Can we get big enough to eat the soup place? Maybe. Maybe. What else is there to eat? Oh, there's some stuff behind it, I guess. Now I can eat the entire thing. Oh, yeah, that's a big soup. Good soup. I'm eating boulders in this one and buildings in this one too. Oh, okay. Mine just went to disappear. Oops, excuse me. Great delivery. I think we're about to hit level 10. Have a garbage day. We just hit level 10, which means we could get the quadcopter. I got food poisoning from cat soup. More than once. Yeah, I used to work there. It's pretty gross. Well, with all those roaches, I could see that now. Everything I do seems to have helped everyone. He's got a point, Mira. Maybe BK ain't that so bad. Okay, everybody. We all know cat soup was a hole, even before it got holed. But let's get back to the real problem here. Yeah, my 100% smashed quadcopter. Yeah, why did you smash it, Mira? Dude, I didn't want to smash it. I had to. Why don't you, donut shop. So why didn't you smash it? There's the quadcopter right there. What is this? Oh, good to shoot things. Let's see. So he's controlling the quadcopter. Check this out. BK Squad. It literally says BK Squad. You and this. Wow. Notice how the propellers spin really fast? That's how it flies. No kidding. And it only took 12 deliveries for me to get it. Can I see? Sure. Oh, is she gonna smash it right here? Be careful. Careful. Like this? A little lower? How about... Y'all, I don't like Mira. Yeah, what are you doing? You're acting psycho. How can you brag about this stupid toy when you got it by destroying our friends' homes? They ordered the donuts, dude. I mean, they did. They know what they were ordering. I give people what they want. This is pointless. BK, what's your password for this thing? I think it's 0451. Wait, no, I changed it to Bonky Kong. Thanks, by the way. Do you know what's at the bottom of the holes? I don't know. What are you doing? Teaching you a lesson. Oh no. We're gonna start with now sucking him up is the goal. I think bricks will be the first one to go in. They're the smallest. Yep, there it is. We're gonna get the grass because grass is very easy to get in the hole. Get some more of that. Can we get a tile? Oh yeah, we can get tiles in. Get some more brick. I'm about to eat this dude up. There goes the tree. See ya. Now, if I was anyone normal, I would not want to take myself. Like, I guess we're gonna join them. Like, why we would join them? Fine, we're gonna join them. Let's go. And that's how we joined them. I had to do it, dude. There's no other way to get through to you. You don't know what it's like to lose something you care about. It's kind of sad. I mean, he lost the quadcopter. I guess I get what you mean. You guys loved your weird trash houses, and I took them away by doing my job. Which I guess, in context, is an evil job. Close enough. Will you help us get everyone out of the hole now? Fine. Where do we start? I was hoping you'd know. I'm sorry if I gave you the impression that I know stuff, but I know basically nothing. You gotta find Pup. If you guys can find Pup, we can use this hot air balloon to get back to the surface. That's actually not how that would work, because he would have to lower his air pressure in his balloon to get down lower, then pump it up with air. BK, how can you look up Pup on your tablet? Of course. Tablet? Please locate GPS data from the hot air balloon containing a Pup. It's very oddly specific. I'm kidding. Doesn't have voice commands. You know who might be able to find Pup? Possum. Possum is too weird. He's weird. But you have to admit, Possum was right. The Earth is hollow. If you know where he lives, I can get him. Yeah, just deliver a donut. To the abandoned house. Of course, Possum squats in the abandoned house. I always thought it was haunted. This is worse. Oh, ooh, you're creepy. Yeah, I would keep out, but I have to deliver a donut to you, mister. Oh, we're just trying to start going inside the house where it's pitch black and can't see what we're eating. And I just ate one of the only light sources that this game has. Great. Or am I supposed to eat all the light? Okay, let's not eat all the light sources. That was bad. Oh my god, what is this light source? Can I swallow that mask right here? I can barely see anything. What if I take all the light source? How bad does it get? Oh, could have done this the whole time? I could have added a flashlight this entire time? Makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it? Okay, get in there. We'll come back to you then. Okay, get out if you're not gonna. If you don't want to get in, get out. Get out. Let's go. Oh, a lot of ramen, a lot of mask, a lot of weird, creepy mask. I scared a cat. Oh shit! I think he took my flashlight. Okay, my flashlight's back. Look at all this ramen. Look at all this ramen. Oh, the cat's gone. Where'd the cat go? Oh, there's the cat. Okay, so we're gonna eat these now. We're gonna eat this chair. This side table. Yeah, get in there. Your feet. Oh, okay, God, okay. Can I eat the donut now? Oh, thank God, I can finally see. Okay, got that. Can I? Oh, God. Eat this rock. Come on, cat, you're dead. Oh, sweet, dogs in this game and cats. Okay, so he's been following us. Possum has been following us and spying on us. There goes the camera they used to spy on us with. Oh, there he goes. There's Possum. Yeet. I'm supposed to see this creepy house, too. I feel like if we talk about creepy houses, maybe we shouldn't eat the creepy house. Is that it? Can I eat the creepy house now? There. Nope. Timber. I was right. Hollow Earth. Occam's Razor. Yep. How many hours do you have to listen to this? So, Possum, do you know how to locate Pup? Pup. I think I heard the cops looking for a dog in a hot air balloon. Dude, Pup was on the run. Might be able to find out if I had a raccoon police scanner. OMG. BK, where can we get a raccoon police scanner? The police chief probably has one. But he's at Raccoon Lagoon today, so it's his off day. Let's wreck it. Are you serious? Raccoon Lagoon is the happiest raccoon place on Raccoon Earth. It's got great tunes and water balloons. Raccoon Lagoon is home of the fun flume that's fun for raccoons. That's a tongue twister. You have no choice, PK. The flume is doomed. Fine. But you have to answer the police chief when he's down here. So we're going to be going to the police chief. Wow, this actually is really cool. Wow, this is actually cool. Yeah, that is a really cool place. I mean, I would go to this place. So we're going to gather all the rocks first, and then we're going to grab some bricks. Maybe this brick here. We're just going to gather all this up. Yeah, there it is. There. Get in the hole. Get in this hole. Can I take the fence? Yep, I'm going to take everything. Do you think I could take this? Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, cool. How many water balloons can I have? All of them? Or do I have to launch it the other way? There's only one way to launch it. Okay, then we launch that up. Oh, okay, so the object is to get water balloons. Take this up, take this, take that. We launch that and see if we can make an ever-flowing... If we can make it like an ever-flowing... We'll just pop this balloon, I think, is what they're asking us to do. Yeah, and then we'll bump this up. We'll get them almost all the way up there. Give me this fish back. We'll pop this. Blow this up. We're there. And then... Oh, we're one off. Never mind. Take it back. We're one off. We're gonna catch this fish, grab that water. He's gonna come right down to us. Oh, wee! Come on, you're right there. Come on, oh, snap! Gobble, 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 gobble. And we ate. We ate him. I guess I have to swallow the water. If I pop the balloons, I might can grab. Okay, maybe popping the balloons is not the best idea. Okay, I got that. Oh, look at the trash pandas. Ooh, got you, got you. Can't get that one yet. Oh, okay, so I'm supposed to spin these pandas off really fast and kill them. Do I feel bad for the raccoons? Holy shit. Yeah, I do. Oh, God. Yikes, y'all. Okay. I think we're gonna get... I think I killed the police... Oh, well, there went one of them. Oh, there it goes. I want to say I murdered the chief of police, but I could be wrong. At least they'll have something to play down there. Oh, there he is. Bleh. Is he alive? No, I think I murdered him. Grab the scanner. Guys, I can get in trouble for this. Trash King will take away my tablet if he finds out. Are you gonna get grounded too? Will he drop you and all your friends into a weird cave? Okay, I get it. Possum. Got anything on the scanner? 1 sec. Yes, got it. Trouble continues at Raccoon HQ. Day 3 of the protesters. They have custom t-shirts now. Welcome to Atlanta. And that's not it. Donut County donut shop is missing. An investigation underway as after delivery Raccoon and BK. Turn it off. There's got to be some news about requesting backup on the 405. Hot air balloon causing traffic jam. That must be my pup. Got it. He's on the 405. You better hurry, BK. The cops are after him. The cops are after me. Calm down. It's okay, dude. I'll visit you in jail. What? Who's a really good friend? But first, we have to deliver to Make. Oh, we're gonna clean up this traffic jam. Hell yeah, let's go. Oh, little tiny car. We have to eat the little tiny car first with the coffee on top. Look at how cute that is. You gonna ram the car? Ram the car. Come on, ram the car in front of you. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do is get that coffee off. Come on, get the coffee off. Come on, get that coffee off. I don't think my mouse sensitivity is high enough for that one. There it is. Thank you. Now I can eat you. There, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Get in my hole. Suck it. Oh my god, he's trying to escape. Oh, okay, we killed him. I mean, we put him in the hole. Alright, we're gonna grab this. We're gonna grab this. We're gonna grab the raccoons. No, we're gonna have to grab the plates. Now we can grab the raccoon. Yep, there you go. There you go. Why are they watching random TV on the freeway? I feel like you don't want to do that in the middle of the freeway. Okay, drop down. Give me the TVs, please. Give me the TVs. Thank you for the TVs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come on, drop some more TVs. Thank you. Now that we can watch TV down there, I can eat this raccoon here, eat this there. Alright, sweet. Sorry, can I take it? Oh, RIP. Oh, donuts. And I ate a blue donut. Is that a rare donut? Can I eat this now? Sweet. Alright, we're gonna have to blop blop them. I was hoping I could knock... Oh, wow. I swapped the donut. Oh, okay. So the camera, and then it falls down, and I can now eat the raccoon in the quadcopter. Oh, that's cool. Come on. I need to throw the camera up. There it is. There it is. Come on down, Mr. Raccoon. Just fall into my belly. Whee! Grab these while I'm here. Come on, Mr. Dude, let's go! Oh, that's one way to... Oh, what? A white raccoon? Or is it a panda? Alright, now... Oh, come on down. Come on down, you're the next contestant. Oh, come on. Got him. Come on, come on, come on. Keep coming down. Oh, that's one way to do it. Just beat the crap out of him. Alright, I need you, Panda. And now we're gonna clean up the freeway. Do they... Okay, if... Oh my god. If you saw people driving off into a cliff, would you follow them? I don't know if I'd follow them. I like how the hole gets smaller and then gets bigger. After every round. Well, there you are, Mr. Pup. Pup! You're safe! Okay, Pup, get out. I need this hot air balloon. I'm going up to save us. You can't go alone. You'll just run away. I'm coming with you. I'm coming too, in case we need to hack into the mainframe. He's a hacker, y'all. Yeah, don't just stay here. Are you guys leaving with no plan? We're gonna talk to the leader of the raccoons, Trash King. We're going to do a boss fight and kick his butt. Dude, you're always screwing the boss fights. You gotta follow my lead this time. Maybe you should have talking to him first. We'll try. Good luck then. Thanks, Coco. Now we're about to have a boss fight. So here's all the holes I spawned. Doesn't feel that different up here. It's like we got replaced by raccoons. What? I already said. I'm sorry. You don't have to rub it in. You think this is all my fault? I feel bad, but I can't undo what I did. BK, here's a tip. You're feeling guilty. I don't blame you for everything that raccoons do. You still want to be friends? I do. But if you want to be friends with me, don't make your guilt my problem. And yeah, wash my car. Always give my dog a bath. Deal. There it is. Raccoon HQ. It's a really nice place. It's that thing on the old observation hill. Kind of looks like a big garbage can. I know, cool, right? I guess it makes sense. Trash King lives there. Let's go for it. So it looks like we're gonna battle the Trash King. Wow, it smells awful. Do you guys use like reverse air fresheners? It's home sweet home. You should call Trash King now. Try to convince him to help us fix everything. Are you kidding? I can't call him. It'd be extremely awkward. Text him then. Fine. Yeah, what's up with people not calling people? My girlfriend hates calling people with a passion. Is that just normal now that people just don't like talking to each other? Like, she'll go out of her way. I mean, I would too sometimes. But they just go out of the way completely to not talk to someone. Sorry, new phone. You up? Who dis? It's BK. I work for you. I was wondering, like, is it possible to undo some of the holes? And give people their trash back? Well, yeah, like, the anxiety is real, but what are you going to do? Hang up. They're not going to, like, show up at your house. She was forced at her old job to call so many people a day, 3 people a day, and she dreaded it. She would wait until the end of the day. And that's my job, is to call people. So I'm just like, call him. Who cares? What is he saying? It didn't work, dude. I think he's mad at me. Oops. You know what would be fun? Opening a hole, wrecking this place. Yep, let's do it. Okay, 1 hole coming up. Yeah, I do a lot of phone calls for anything and everything. Okay, why can I not swallow? I can swallow this, but not the hammer? Okay, now I can swallow the hammer. I think people are just scared of the unknown of what could happen when someone answers. Well, we tried. Oh well. Nothing else we can do. I can help. Possum? We told you to stay with her. Where did Possum come from? But I read between the lines. I can help you hack into the HQ security cam. You can sneak a hole inside that way. How do we hack in? Just plug this into the security system. We can use the catapult. Oh, here goes nothing. Oop, got it. So we're gonna plug it in right here. Let's yeet. Possum, hack protocol. It's trippy AF. So that's one thing we've learned in our industry is you need to call people before, or think before you text. He's on the toilet? Okay, okay. Can I go in this way? Biolabs, I need scanners. Okay, so we're gonna get that. But people are just afraid to talk to people, I feel like. It just the, I guess, the unknown of everything. Even though, what are they gonna do? Hang up? I mean, it's nothing serious. Or we're gonna get you, raccoon. Yeet. I'd have a raccoon. Can I blow it up? Yeah, so I got a red security card, I believe, now. So we're gonna go in here. Can I? Oops, we're gonna grab that again. We're gonna go into this right here. That was weird. Welcome to the biology lab near recruits. Donut County has made many rude, screaming beasts. Nobody knows why. The animals were just outside. It's our job to figure out the purpose of these nude creatures. Watch as our top raccoons extract the facts. Sorry, Mara, you're a nude creature. In the fetal position, we'll grab this one real quick. What, this is just water? Yeah, she dreads asking people if something comes up, I need to say something. Oh, okay, so I need to go up, down, over. Yeah, if anything needs to be done, I'm the person to do it. If where can I open? If something has questions, I reach out. Okay, so that's, oh, there's more. There's more. Move, roach. There's a frog. All these nude ooh. Oh, you're gonna eat. I'm gonna eat you, bro. Grab that one. Grab this one. Can I grab this one? Should be able to grab all these now because they're edible. Okay, we're gonna eat all the flies real quick. Okay, what? Excuse me? It's just the whole texting thing. Look at all those rabbits. What are they up there for? Okay, so I collected all the... Alright, we might have to grab that switch right here and pop the bunnies out. There it is. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. At some point, they're going to fall loose. Alright, we're going to eat these rabbits, and they're going to multiply, y'all. And we're going to have the most awesome hole ever. Look at them multiplying. Oh, there's a lot of multiplying. Don't panic. It's just a rogue hole. This is literally very normal. I turn the emergency lights on because it's fun. Please finish filling out the waivers for the next 5 seconds. Oh, there goes all the bunnies. I guess when it's coming to death, you just want to multiply. Let's go, bunny. Come on, bunny. Hop on in. I hope my bunny doesn't see me playing this game. He'll be like, what are you doing? Alright, so I got all the bunnies. Oh, except for this one. I need your card. Thank you. I agree. When in doubt, multiply it out. That's one of the hidden things in Disney. Was it Disney? Zootopia? They're like, yeah, rabbits, they're good at multiplying. Before raccoons, the people of Donut County produced a wide variety of trash. We believe this piece of trash had special significance. We're scientists study this trash around the clock so that we could learn to create our own someday. Let's see what they're up to. Honestly, creating your own trash someday. Very interesting. I feel like we have enough trash as it is. We're gonna grab these over here to make it the hole a little bit bigger so then we can... They're literally studying a fire pit. Now, this fire pit's gotta go. We'll grab the trash can first. It's smaller. Now this is burning. I guess I should set the sprinkler off here in a second. So That's what this is over there. Nobody panic. Everything is fine. Whomever's driving this hole, please go away. So what is, we don't want to be vacuumed up, do we? Oh, this is a fire spitter. So what are we trying to do? Ooh. Okay, so this gives power to it to crank it up. That's what the water does. This one dries it out for me. This one heats up this firecracker, I believe. Okay, so you have a firecracker that pops out. We're gonna electrocute it, so you got a firecracker that pops out. This guy is going to take it out. I'm gonna turn on this over here. Grab this and launch it up. Bingo. Well, that concludes the tour. Attention, whole driver. Meet me in my office. Thank you. So we're finally gonna meet the Trash King. It actually told me what time it was up there. That is my time. That's kind of cool. Main hall. Okay, Sears' office. It's a pretty cool office. But what's over here? I feel like there's something in this room. But I guess not. Alright, here's all the masks. I think this is a trap, y'all. You think this is a trap? We're slowly being coerced to eat all the donuts inside the light. Like it's leading us to doom. It's a trap. Oh, it's a trap. He's literally on a throne of trash. BK, please report to my office right now. I am opening up direct access for you alone. We have urgent business. He said my name. You sure you can handle him alone? He seems like he stinks. Yeah, he definitely stinks, but I can handle him. I thought about what you said earlier. This is my mess to clean up. It is, but you always call me for backup. I appreciate it. Wish me luck. You don't need to do it. You're gonna kick butt. Thanks, dude. Who thinks BK is actually gonna win this? I want a pickle. No. I'm here to get my reverse. I'm here for you to reverse the holes. Bring everyone back. Do you know you're the highest rated hole driver in Donut County? You're not supposed to agree, chat. Picture this dude. Full-time employee status. Company stock. The company will take care of everything for you. They'll even wipe your butt. Oh my god. Who would want their own butt wiped? No. Who would want that? Oh, he wiped. Well, okay, he wants that. If you join me, you'll get to play with the real big boy toys. I did ask that, didn't I? Yep. I hope BK wins this. Burger King needs a real comeback. It has a cement cannon for tough construction jobs. It's the pickup truck of quadcopters. OMG. OMG. I have one more thing to show you. Follow me. Hey, possum. Oh god. Okay. Do you have a bazooka? Or something that could blow a bunch of quadcopters? Check the dark web when we get back. Never mind. Maybe they're just here for fun. I don't think they're here for fun. Oh, he really does have a pickle. His hand's stuck in the pickle. That's where the holes come from. Sick. But those nerds in the hot air balloons are holding you back. You gotta learn to put yourself first. You see his hand in the pickle jar? Because he doesn't want to let go of the pickle. So his hand is stuck forever in the pickle jar. Trash can, you gotta reach it and take the pickle. You gotta reach in and take the pickle. What if mine gets stuck, like yours? Ha, it's not stuck. I could take it out whenever. It's meant to inspire you. Sign this. Branch manager? And I get the health insurance. Yep, and of course, a brand new quadcopter. Alright, hand me the pin. He's gonna sell his soul for a quadcopter. A big-ass quadcopter. It's the king. It's a king quadcopter. We need to surrender Mia. That thing can easily pop our balloon. What if you blow it up first? Told you I don't have a bazooka. And Trash King has my hacking device. We're gonna use a hole. Trust me, it's designed to destroy stuff. Yo, boss battle 101, let's go. Pew pew. Alright, sure. Guess I'm supposed to dodge. Oh, I can't suck that up, so. I'm glad I dodged it. Oh, I can take that though. I can take that. Give me the little one. 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 Ooh, mother trucker. Wow, that took half health. That was a lot of health for such a small little. Can I eat those? No, I cannot eat those. So just made it slightly harder, but I just run around in a circle. Should be fine. Get it? A circle. More like a hole. Alright, can't eat this one. Where's the other one? Where's the middle tier? Can't eat that one. I can only eat the small one. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Get up there. Oh yeah. One more go. What's happening? Oh god. Okay, this one's a little bit trickier, I guess. I can just go on the outside though. Oh my god, I got filled up with a little bit of concrete, I think. Is that concrete? Glass? What is that? Alright, I'm looking for the small one. Because I can't eat the big one. I'm just not gonna get in that way. What does it do? Oh, no! Oh, come on. You didn't throw out a small enough one. Oh, I'm supposed to break it with the bomb. Ew, and then eat one of them. Okay, so I do have to do something with the bombs. So this is gonna hit me one more, so we'll be tied 1-1. So neither one of us can make another mistake. I literally cannot lose the only game. Alright, we're gonna go around in a big old circle. Go faster, go faster, go faster, go faster. Oh my god, oh god, I got out. Yeah, that's my bomb. That's my bomb, that's my boy. Got it. You did. Reminds me of a Sonic game, blowing up the enemy Eggman and him flying away. Bye. We destroyed it. It's all without BK help. I can't believe he abandoned us. He sold us out. I'm not surprised though. BK is a true capitalist. Well, I'm gonna kick his butt. I'll fix his quadcopter and smash it again. That's what I'm saying. What was that? The quadcopter's back and has cannons? It has a bazooka? That's not fair. That's something we were supposed to get. Don't blow us up. You thought you could use my holes against me? I'm the Trash King. I designed this out. Sorry to bust your bubble, but your friend BK took the pickle. Later, nerds. Have fun. What was that? Sorry I'm late. I didn't take the pickle. He's got a hacking device. We can hack into the quadcopter and take it apart. Hold still. I'm going to catapult you right into our quadcopter. Dodge the bazooka. Okay? Wait. Don't let me get blown up. Alright, let's go, little dude. Wow, you already did damage to me? That's not fair. That's not fair. Alright. Well, there it was. What do you mean? Whoa. Okay. There it was. That makes no sense. It's right there. There's the hook. Maybe I'm supposed to... It's literally... Maybe I'm supposed to launch it into this thing? There it is. Okay, I'm supposed to launch it into that. I'm so dumb. What is this? Let's grab the bombs as fast as possible. Should be the last one. You don't know how I'm surviving this. This game is designed for me not to lose, and it is amazing. It is amazing. All right, we're gonna suck up this quadcopter. Easy. Let's see, get in there. Oh my god, that one's stuck. Or we'll take you in there, and then we'll take you in there. And we'll take up your entire base where we're at it. This was awesome. I am literally sucking up trash. I'll take the door. I guess we're just destroying the base, not actually sucking up the base, because it's not wanting to take any of the pieces in. Just kind of wild, but... Alright, come on. How do I get these pieces out? Blew those pieces away, yeah. I guess I just had to stay on top of it long enough to blow it up. Yep, I just had to stay on top of it long enough. And it didn't kill the Raccoon King for some reason. You guys ruined everything. I guess raccoons just can't cut it in Donut City. Donut County. More like you can't cut it, dude. Yeah, your company stinks. You ruined the neighborhood. It's not about the company. Think about all the innocent raccoons that moved here. Give me a break. Truth is, we're running out of trash. We first came to Donut County because the trash was plentiful. Now to keep our openings more holes to get less and less trash. I was looking out for us, dude. No, you weren't. You were just looking out for yourself. You didn't run out of trash. You ran out of people to steal from. What am I supposed to do? I have nothing now. Bring everyone back. Yeah. All our stuff, too. So much work, though. I'd have to build a huge catapult. If you do it, we'll tell you how to get your hand out of the pickle jar. Really? Nope. His hand is literally still in the pickle jar. Oh, so we're gonna teleport everybody up. That's cool. I think it's ready. Alright, everyone. One at a time. Let's get moving. Thanks, Mira. And BK, stay out of trouble. Just launched them. Before I go, I have one quest. Could you please not catapult any snakes back up there? I'll see what we can do. Nope, see ya. BK's still an ass. It's been a while, y'all. Sorry again, guys. It's okay. We forgive you, Mira. Now, not you though, BK. Yeah, you stink. Okay, bye. Whatever. Launch that salt and pepper up. Hey, Coyote, I was thinking, would you like a job at our donut shop? We're going clean, I promise. Yeah, I suppose I like that. But I get to be your boss? Weird, but okay. I came out in a full suit, y'all. Only thing is, only time. who can say if things will ever get back to normal? Yet things probably won't feel normal for a while. No matter, we can sell and let the bunnies flow. Sorry for the mess. It's okay. Take care, Mira. They didn't say take care of BK. I like that. Mira, BK, nice job blowing up the quadcopter. Thanks. You know, I was thinking, I sure hope you don't mention anything to the cops about my explosives business. They'd probably be pretty shocked to hear who destroyed the 405 and all the other stuff you guys blow up. You know? Just saying, as a friend. Okay. Well, thanks for threatening us. Later. I got a joke for you guys. Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Did you ever hear the one about the raccoon kissing the chicken? Nope. How's it go? Dude, I'm not gonna kiss your dirty chicken. Well, it's been real. Yeah, real waste of time. Thanks for the introduction. Introducing me to the frog, though. Oh, after he got licked enough. It's a cool frog. Pretty cool, I guess. All worked out. Okay, okay, you can launch me now. Yeah, okay. It was awkward. Hey guys, stop by Cat Soup sometime, will you? Sure. Are you gonna get rid of all the bugs? I don't know. I feel like they're kind of a secret ingredient now. You should throw some apple cores and fishbone in there. Make a garbage stew. Good idea. No. Go away. That's a mood. I'm sorry, I doubted you, Possum. No sweat, Mira. You shouldn't trust what everyone tells you, especially BK. Don't worry, I'll never trust him again. What? After all this? I'm kidding. See? You can't trust anyone on this flat, hollow earth. Whatever. You know it's gonna take a long time for me to give you guys? You messed up. Like, every possible thing. Sorry, Coco. BK, I'm sorry too, Coco. You still want to go to the beach next weekend? Yeah, let's do it. Looks like we've launched everybody up, except for us. Thanks for being so cool to me. And for showing me how to be a good friend. And for your patience. And OMG, that's enough praise. I don't know, maybe someday you'll make it up to me. Like, clean my car up. After you do my laundry for 100 years. Praise me now. Well, okay. After spending so much time with you, I decided you stink only 75% as much as the Trash King. You still need a bath, though. You love my stink. Yeah, I don't. Don't love my girlfriend. I really don't. Would you do me the honor of pressing the launch button? Gladly. Too slow. Look at that. Look at that dance move. Yeet. So I think that's... Oh, I can control the... I can now control... this thing. Oh, there's someone's butt. Boarded up hole? Let's see if I can see it. Oh yeah, the little boarded up hole right here. They literally just boarded up all the holes, didn't they? So there was her house. Did we all live like right next to each other? They literally just boarded up the holes. I feel like that's a code violation. I feel like they're gonna get stuck on something. I like how the names are still there. That's and that's it. That is Donut County. Honestly, it was a good game. Short game, but a good game. Very unique. Good story. Good moral point of, you know, trust your friends. stuff like that. And then if they fail, make them wash your car. I feel like that was the best point of the game. It was a very cute game. All the little creatures and everything was pretty cool. It's free for 2 more days on the Xbox Game Pass, if that means anything. So it was good. Let's see what else. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna raid over to Onyx. Today was a short stream because I have work tomorrow, but also have to do some work before work tomorrow. Because I have a meeting at 8 and I gotta knock some stuff out before then. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna raid out. Thank y'all for watching. It was amazing for y'all. It was amazing for y'all to watch and enjoy the cute story of this animal talking, donut loving game. Because who doesn't love donuts and talking animals or animals in general? So we're gonna raid out here. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a wonderful night. Oh, I unlocked Trash P. Open items now? Sure. Did I collect everything? I did. Okay, I did collect everything, I think. I mean, I swallowed everything in the game. So I don't see why I wouldn't have everything. It's a lot of stuff that we swallowed in our hole. That's phrasing. That sounded bad. Jeez, this game. Okay. Y'all have a wonderful night. I'll see y'all Tuesday for Goose Goose Duck.